I keep my goals to myself, cause whenever I share it with folks, they get a look upon their face and their memory floats to a time where their goals and the stars.
What's good? NXT was tremendous. Very, very fun show. We're going to definitely talk about it and discuss it. NXT is firing on all cylinders right now. We got new characters and new faces, which is great. So, things are looking up for NXT. Major announcement. NXT in the summer is going to be doing all of their pay-per-views on the CW going forward, starting in the summer. That is tremendous. That is amazing. Absolutely amazing. This is great. This is absolutely great. This is excellent. It really is. If you think about it, this is better than anything on the main roster because they're behind a paywall with ESPN. They could have done it where, you had to have Peacock to watch it, which they did in the past. They're not doing that, right? They're actually putting their pay-per-views on broadcast television. That is tremendous. That's excellent. Smart. Brilliant. It's brilliant. Now, hopefully, it won't be as many commercials and stuff. But I think that's great. I think this is great. This makes sense. And then also, too, it expands their fan base. It broadens their fan base, right? This allows for NXT's fan base to grow, right? This is amazing. So everything for NXT is in one place, which is tremendous. That's excellent. It's not behind a paywall like main roster pay-per-views on ESPN or HBO Max for Dynamite or AEW, or even on TNA Plus when it comes to TNA. This is great. Excellent. I am so proud and happy for NXT. I really, truly am. The brand has finally come up. It's finally come up. Excellent. This is tremendous. Can't wait. I cannot wait. All right. So we're going to get into NXT from April the 28th, 2026. Very fun show. So we kicked the show off with Robert Stone. He's sitting down talking to Matt Bloom and Shawn Michaels. He mentions how, NXT no longer has the services of Joe Hendry, Fatal Influence, so Ruka, Joe Hendry, and Mariah May. They're all going to be going on the main roster. So they've got some big shoes to fill. And he's been getting a lot of international calls from multiple brands. Robert Stone says it's time to add some new fresh blood from Evolve and LFG. Matt Bloom says there's a lot of international talent that want to partake in NXT. Shawn Michaels mentions that they've been through this cycle plenty of times before. Robert Stone could put some names on a little index cards, put pictures on his whiteboard, and take more phone calls, or he can throw a stick of dynamite into that locker room and see who the hell runs out. It's anybody's game now. Great stuff there. I like that. Good. Moving on from that, let's lead us into the first match of the night. Miles Bourne defeats Saquon Sugars to retain the NXT North American Championship, which is great. We all knew that was going to happen anyway. So Dark State tried to get involved, and Miles Bourne fought them off. Then Dion Lennox, he ended up trying to bring a steel chair into the ring and all that. And Miles Bourne beat him up, threw him into the ring post a couple times. And then he ended up hitting the Born Again from over the top rope for the 1, 2, 3. So I like that. Pretty good stuff there. This is fine. Dark State continues to bicker and argue and everything else. So, that's fine. It makes sense. And then a guy from Evolve called Christian Angels, he shows up. Angel says that Miles Bourne has had a very impressive victory. And he calls himself Mr. England. So he looks like he would belong as the third member, Pretty Deadly, with Kit Wilson and Elton Prince. So, yeah. So then another guy shows up by Cam Hendricks, and he beats up Miles Bourne and lays him out. So that's fine. I like that. Pretty cool stuff there. I don't really watch much of LFG, and I don't really hardly watch much of Evolve. But it looks like I'm gonna start having to watch not LFG, but Evolve. This is fine. I like this. It makes perfect sense here. So good stuff. All right, moving on from that, this leads us into Kendall Gray and Ren Sinclair. They're talking in the locker room. Ren Sinclair can't think because there's so much movement going on in NXT. Kendall Gray points out that Ren Sinclair has more speed in her as she's the women's speed champion. So Klein Jordan, she shows up. And Kendall Gray asks Klein Jordan if she's good. She's not, because she's not standing next to someone who got a two-part chronicle who doesn't even deserve it, someone who's got multiple title shots when she hasn't gotten one opportunity at the NXT Women's Championship. Klein Jordan tapped out Lola Vice, something that Kendall Gray couldn't do. She's the one to beat. What happened after that? That's right. Klein Jordan got knocked out in the NXT Underground. Ren Sinclair says that Kendall Gray didn't get pinned at Stand and Deliver, so she deserves to face Lola Vice. Klein Jordan calls Ren Sinclair clueless, as always. She needs to realize that there's no friends here in NXT. Kendall Gray is going to turn on her at some point, just like Charlie Dempsey did. Ren Sinclair says that Klein Jordan should be worrying about the Speed Championship instead of the NXT Women's Championship. So Klein Jordan proceeds to challenge Ren Sinclair to a match, and she won't have to put her title on the line because she just wants to embarrass her in front of her little friend. Klein Jordan tells Kendall Gray to sit down while she stands out tonight. Okay, I like that. I like what they're doing with Kalani. She's really coming to her own with this heel turn, so she's great. She's more vicious. Excellent. Good shit here. Very, very good shit here. I like this. I really do. Moving on. This leads us into Tony D'Angelo. He's out next. He comes out. He gets on the mic. And he says that the more things change, the more things stay the same in NXT. And there's only one thing in NXT that's for sure. That's that the competitors, they come and go. But ever since he's gotten into the building, he's been the constant. And now he's got the title. There isn't a man on the roster who's tough enough to kick him off the mountain, including whoever sent him that box last week. He mentions that we have competitors from Evolve and LFG jumping miles. We have Europeans stepping up. We got Ken Okara side-eyeing him. But he's more interested in that box. He said he's not stupid. He knows that wasn't a gift. That was a warning. So the lights go out. Evil shows up. He gets a pretty decent reaction. So then he takes a bow. He gives Tony D'Angelo a t-shirt with the same symbol of war from last week. And then Evil leaves. So then Tavion Heights shows up and lays out Tony D with the belly-to-belly suplex. And Tavion Heights says that he's taken everything and that he deserves it all. And then an unknown big guy shows up. He slaps into the ring and delivers a moonsault. So that was pretty cool. I like that. Tavion Heights being more aggressive, that's cool. We have no idea who this fat guy was. He got, like, basically no reaction. Vic Joseph thought he was a fan, and I'm like, who the hell was that? Like, what the hell? Like, he got no reaction. So, on commentary, they didn't even mention Evil by name. They just, said, Evil. So that's fine. This is good. Again, he got a good reaction. Makes sense. Evil's in his, late 30s, early 40s, which is fine. So that's good there. They need some veteran presence in NXT still. So that's fine. I like this, though. I really do. I think this is interesting. It's always good to cause chaos in pro wrestling. And I like it. I know the AEW sickos are going to say, oh, Evil sucks and stuff like that. It's like, it is what it is, man. Like, who cares? You got to realize, man, both WWE and AEW have gutted New Japan, basically. More so AEW than WWE, but AEW has completely gutted New Japan. Gutted them. Like, it's insane. It's like, what the hell? But it is what it is. Shit happens, so whatever. But this is fine. Moving on, this leads us into Shiloh Hill and Tatum Paxley. They were in the cemetery. They're burying the last remains of of Mariah May in NXT. I didn't mean to say her NXT name, Blake Monroe, which I don't like. That's why I, refer to her as Mariah May. So then they said, may the cold darkness engulf her glamorous and narcissistic ways. So Tatum didn't want to put Mariah in the coffin, but she made her do it. Tatum is glad that she won't have to hear Mariah's voice anymore. Shiloh hopes that Mariah finds peace wherever she ends up. In a funny way, Tatum does too. Tatum just goes into survival mode when it comes to the NXT North American Women's Championship. Shiloh knows that Tatum usually forms strong attachments to things and people, and that's what makes her fun to be around. Tatum will figure out what's next for her later on. Shiloh calls his upcoming match with Ricky Saints, the biggest match of his career. He said that he's ran multiple simulations on how the match would go. Tatum says that Shiloh is going to kill it. Okay, that's fine. Okay. Again, this is interesting. Creepy much, but it's fine. Again, this would never happen on the main roster. Like, no. And I do wonder how Tatum would do on the main roster. I really do. But knowing Triple H, he might force her to tweak her character for sure. Because I'm not into that spooky stuff. I'm not into that spooky shit. No. So, yeah, that's probably what he would say. No, I'm not into that spooky shit. You gotta move it. No, Tatum. But I do think that Tatum would do well on the main roster. But I wonder what they're going to do with Tatum going forward. Like, who's going to be her next challenger? Because there's so much competition in the NXT women's division. Like, that division is fucking stacked. From top to bottom, it's stacked. All right, moving on from that. This leads us into a Lexis King promo. He just said some words, basically. He didn't say much of anything. He talked about how they were going to put on a tag team clinic. And they made fun of Eli Prosper. And so they ended up showing a clip of what they did to DVD, Dorian Von Dukes. So they're beating him up in the backstage area, and they took him out. So they're trying to find out a way to get the match canceled. So EK Prosper shows up. They brawl basically. Then Shawn Legacy shows up to make the save. Then this leads us into Shawn Legacy and EK Prosper defeating Birthright, Stax, and Uriah Connors. Birthright can't win, dude. Just disband this fucking faction, please. Just end it, please. Like, they don't care about it. They really don't care about it. So post-match, the Birthright, they beat up on Sean Legacy and Eli Prosper some more. And then Tate Wilder from Evolve shows up and he helps out Sean Legacy and Eli Prosper. So that's fine. Who cares? It makes sense. Moving on. This leads us into Thea Hale. She's talking to Jada Parker in the NXT Women's Locker Room. Thea wants to know if any females from Evolve or LFG are going to show up tonight. So, Miss Parker, she's not sure, but after watching SmackDown last week, NXT is anybody's game now. Jada Parker knows nothing. So, Kelly Armstrong shows up. She wants to know why does everybody sound so worried? Kelly says that Miss Parker is a little scared of a little bit of competition. Parker says that she's not scared of nothing. So Kelly needs to tread lightly. Kelly says that she's going to be the difference maker in this division. And if that has to start with checking Jada Parker, then so be it. So Jada and Kelly, they start to bicker back and forth and everything else, and then they're held back by the locker room. I like this. This is great shit here. This is fucking good. I'm a fan of Jada, and I'm a fan of Kelly, right? This is great. This needs to be a really lengthy feud. This doesn't need to have just one match and then that's it, a one and done. Nah, this thing needs to go on for a little while. I like this. I really do. This is fun. This is some fun fucking shit right here. Great. This kicks ass. Moving on, this leads us into the bickering of Dark State. Mainly Saquon Sugars and Dion Lennox. They continue to bicker back and forth. Then the other guys, Osiris Griffin and Cutler James, they don't want to hear it. And they are going to go after the tag team titles because they want to get Dark State back on track. Okay, that's fine. I do like that. That's their new plan. Still, I think Dark State is still going to break up. They need to. Again, you can have the singles guys be Dion Lennox and Saquon Sugars and go after the NXT title and the North American title picture, which is fine for both guys. And then you can have Cyrus Griffin and Cutler James as going after the tag titles, which they should do. So, yes, Dark State should disband. All right, moving on. This leads us into Lizzy Rain. She defeated Nikita Lyons. Nikita Lyons done slimmed down some. She done lost a good bit of weight, so they put her on a diet. So she's probably doing a vegan diet, basically. She was thick. It's gone. It's gone. She gone. That thing gone. No. It's gone. That booty gone. But, hey, it is what it is. But, Lizzy Rain wins. She wins via a nasty thunderstruck knee strike. She does it even better than Xia Li from TNA. So I do like this. And Lizzy got a really good reaction. This was her in-ring debut. This is fine. I like this. And I believe she spent time on the Indies and everything else for a little while. So, there's that. This is good. I like it. Match was kind of decent. So, yeah, interesting. Moving on. So, Miles Bourne, he wanted to have some words with Tavion Heights. He said he's not happy about him jumping Tony D'Angelo earlier on. So, Tavion said that he wants to make an opportunity for himself. That's why he did that. He's going to kick the door down. So, the problem for Miles Bourne here is that Tavion Heights doesn't act like that. Tavion Heights asks if the spotlight is too big for both of them now. Tavion mentions that Miles Bourne did the exact same thing to Ethan Page now that Miles Bourne has the North American Championship. He's been acting different now. So Heights says the NXT is wide open, and he just caught Tony D'Angelo by surprise. So people are coming all over the place, and he's going to add his name to that list. So Tavion then walks away, and then Keanu Carver shows up again, and he stares down Miles Bourne, telling him he's going to give him a message. The same message that he gave Tony D'Angelo last week, that NXT's filled with sharks now, but Miles Bourne is looking at the great white. I like that. Good stuff there. Moving on, this leads us into the Vanity Project. So, the Vanity Project, they were celebrating Ricky Smokes' birthday. Brad Baylor says that he and Ricky Smokes have the tag team division on lockdown. Now it's time for Jackson Drake to stand out. And he's on top of the world now that he has Micah Lockwood, which is Bailey Humphrey. And she does not look attractive at all. No. Very unattractive. No. So he says that he can conquer anything, that being Jackson Drake. So Jasper Troy shows up. And he says that Jackson Drake has a white mouth, pause, but he has nothing to show for it. While Jackson Drake is focusing on dating, he should be focusing on championship gold. He said that Jackson Drake is getting rage baited. And then Jasper Troy challenges Jackson Drake to a match next week. Okay, whatever, that's fine, whatever. Moving on, Kalani Jordan defeats Ren Sinclair in a really decent match here. Kalani has gotten so good as a heel. She's doing tremendous shit. She worked on the ankle and the knee of Ren Sinclair, and then she ended up winning the match via the one-of-the-kind split-legged moonsault for the 1-2-3. I like that. Good stuff there. Moving on, we get a Zarya vignette, which is very, very cool. Loved it. Good stuff there. She didn't say much of anything. So, I like it. She's just going to cause havoc and destruction, which is fine. Good shit there. I like that. Hopefully she's the one to maybe dethrone Tatum Paxley. I think that's where they're going to start with both her and Keanu Carver. Just start them in the mid-title picture. Moving on from that, main event of the evening, Shiloh Hill defeats Ricky Saints. So Ricky Saints is no longer in NXT. He'll be on Smackdown this week, which is fine. Match was pretty good. Shiloh Hill ended up bringing a dummy out there, which is kind of funny, and that was pretty cool. I like that. Shiloh Hill, I'm starting to like him as a character. I really am. In ring, it's growing on me. Him doing that broken two spot. I still don't like that, but he's got a unique style about him. So he ends up winning the match via the Whisper to the Beast. And that was basically it. So we closed the show with Tony D'Angelo. He shows up to Shawn Michaels' office. Tony D'Angelo says that Keanu Carver was right, but he loves the chaos. Shawn Michaels says that D'Angelo wanted the NXT Championship, and now it's time for him to prove that he's the right guy for the job. So D'Angelo gets pumped up and says, let's fucking go, and then that was it. So I like that. Really good stuff there. Nice. Good. So NXT was very, very good. I like what they're doing. They're bringing in a whole bunch of new characters at once. I love that. We got some feuds with Jada Parker and Kylie Armstrong brewing. I like that. We got some stuff with Izzy Dame and Lola Vice. That's brewing. Their feud is beginning. That's good. I like what they're doing with the NXT title picture. That's good as well. So we got some good stuff going on. NXT continues to be the best wrestling show of the week. Really, really good stuff here.